the facilitator just said, we're going to approach this more in a hands-on way rather than theory. So, so the objective of the workshop, we're going to create an awareness for Agile. I'm not sure if anyone here is IT or if you've ever heard of Agile, but hopefully we're going to go through that in a few. We're going to explain the methods associated with Agile, and we're going to do a more of an hands-on way of applying Agile in our workplace. So a lot of people think Agile is just IT, but it's not just IT. You can use it in any sphere of your work.
Yeah, let's go to the house rules now. We want this session to be as informal as possible. And if you can please manage your phones, not necessarily turn them off, but just manage them, that would be great, yes. And if there's any questions, just stop us at any time, grab us and ask questions. So just relax, any questions, nothing is silly, nothing is stupid, just ask any questions and please feel free. It's an informal session, very interactive.
Okay, I know screen is not absolutely sharp, but bear with us. So, introduction to Agile. What is Agile? It's a method of applying, in terms of IT, it's a method of applying development and testing with respect to applications. So, most people, when they want to develop an application, they always do a planning, obviously. Then it goes through the process of planning, doing some requirements gathering, and also testing it. But prior to Agile, there was a different way of developing, where you have a whole period, probably months, for planning a particular software. Then you go into the documentation, then you go into hiring the IT personnel, then also you then start developing it, then lastly testing, that's where I come in. And once you've tested and you feel that you've got an application good enough, you go live. The handicap to that, unfortunately, is that most times, as we all know, businesses change their perspective of what they want. 1 minute they want an application that is website only, then they start thinking about going onto mobile apps. So things are always changing. That's what you call iterative. So to accommodate constant changing in what the business wants, so we have what we call Agile, which we're going to explain a little bit more.
Well, I like to break it down to the really basic understanding of what Agile is. I would say, forget about the jargons, forget about all the technical terms. This is the way I would describe Agile. You have a project and you're not quite sure about your requirements, the full requirements, but you have an idea, a good idea, and you say, you have a team, and you say, okay, I want to take, for example, create a form, but I'm not quite sure what kind of form it is. So I break it down into little bits, into chunks, little functions that I can produce in 2 weeks, i.e., and at the end of that 2 weeks, I have a small function of that form that I can present to the business or the stakeholder. So Agile is basically accommodating fluidity and constant change. So I can do this little piece today, and in the next 2 weeks, I can do more and the changes I want from the first iteration. Iteration is just basically cutting down the project into little chunks that everybody can understand, and I have the ability to change my requirements if needs be. So that's just what Agile is all about.
Okay. Now, just to illustrate this a little bit.
Sorry, when you say iteration,
yeah.
and accommodating change,
Yes.
so those little chunks that you have,
Yeah.
does it then mean that?
Okay.
Does it then mean that within one chunk,
Yeah.
maybe you have 3 processes you go through,
Okay.
and when you finish that,
Yeah.
and you think you've not arrived at what you want, and you repeat it again, does it involve doing things over and over again?
Okay.
Get to what you want?
Yeah. Okay. I didn't want to go too deep into it because this is just intros and we will see it further in the session. We call it sprints. So we have sprints. Your sprint could be 2 weeks or 4 weeks. So within a sprint, we would allocate a few requirements for that sprint, for that 2 weeks build. So within those 2 weeks, I can say, these are the requirements I want, and it gets delivered at the end of the 2 weeks. So at the end of the 2 weeks, you show the business, you have a demo, a show and tell, and you say, this is what I've produced, developed in those 2 weeks. If I like it, fantastic, I sign it off. But if I need to change some bits in it, I have the ability to say, okay, I don't like that color because it's green, I want it as blue. So since we've finished sprint 1, I can carry my changes that I want, that I desire, into sprint 2. Then the cycle starts again. So it's a repetitive cycle of different requirements.
Thanks for that, Yinka. Okay, so just to illustrate why we do Agile and the whole purpose of it, like Yinka said, it's always an iteration. It's a fixed period. It could be 2 weeks, it could be 3 weeks. And at the end of each week, you get feedback from the business where they review what's been done, what's been built. Then they tell the developers what they want next. So I've got an exercise that sort of like illustrates why we do Agile. So I need about 4 volunteers with wristwatches. Wristwatches. So can you come, please? Yep. Okay, go on. 2 from this side. Don't worry, I'm not going to keep the wristwatch. I've got mine. Can I have yours? No, it doesn't. Yeah, take off your wristwatch. I need 2 guys. 2. Yeah. All right then. So can you stay over there? Yeah. Can you face everyone? So I need you to. Yep. Yeah.
Swapping it. Okay.
Yeah, you don't need to wear them. Okay, so to illustrate Agile and why we do Agile. So your wristwatch, sir, is with you? Yep.
41.
So I need you to let me know, your wristwatch, does it have, in terms of the time, does it have numeric numbers or dashes like you have above, or dots?
So basically, you're describing your own wristwatch.
All?
No, I think it's got.
So just to illustrate why this exercise is being done, it's because a lot of times we make assumptions. We always feel we know what the client wants. Because the client has said something, you just say, yeah, I know what they want. And because you look at something regularly, all the time, you overlook things. Basically, you do. So, all of the above.
Numbers, it's got 12, 3, 6, and 9, and then the rest are dots.
Okay, you need to be a little bit more specific.
It's got both numbers and those lines.
Okay, how many numbers?
4 numbers.
All right. So I've got 60, 80, 90, and I've got a whole lot of numbers here. Okay? Sir?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, don't look at your wristwatch. Your wristwatch is over there. Okay, so same thing.
Is he saying what my wristwatch looks like, or
Yeah,
describe
looks like.
what the one I've got on my hand?
Yeah, just describe.
Your own wristwatch.
My own wristwatch.
So is it numbers or dashes?
You got me going. I think it's got numbers.
Okay, what else?
It's numeric and it's got lines and it's got little sort of tell you times about different.
But it's got numbers. So
Yeah,
like
it's got numbers.
There's 12, there's 3.
No, I think it's got 1 to 12 actually. Yeah.
Okay.
True or false?
True or false?
Very fast.
So where did you get the watch?
You know what? That's a bit questionable now.
I mean, this is what happens in business. Everyone thinks they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's a
Okay,
good one.
going to try you this time around. So your wristwatch, sir, in terms of date, does it display the dates and the months and the year?
Just dates alone.
No, it's not. It's this. I got hands.
Okay. Wait, no, you haven't got mine.
No, that's mine. Just dates alone.
So does it write the date as in the number?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Okay, so is that true or false?
What was your answer?
It's got it shows the number.
Yeah, it shows number. Yeah.
Okay, so the face, how many rings are on it?
I know I've got a ring where I can just play with and turn around, and between that ring you've got numbers around.
Yeah, but how many rings?
How many rings?
Okay, I think about three rings.
That's good.
All right. Okay, so now I'm going to go hard because I want to prove him a bit wrong. So in terms of your hands, your hour hand and your minute hand,
Yeah.
so the edge,
Yeah.
is it flat or triangular?
Which one is that?
Okay, so I know that's wrong anyway. So, yeah, you can have it. You can, give your wristwatches back to each other.
Thank you.
This is yours. I believe that's. So, this exercise, what does it prove to us? Sorry, you can go to your seats, thanks.
Thank you.
So, what does this exercise prove to us? Yeah, don't make assumptions. So, when we're at work, most times we just see something, our boss tells us to do something, and we fill in the gaps, unfortunately. 100% of the time, that's what we normally do. We fill in the gaps, make the assumption, and say, yeah, this is what they want. So we're just going to play a quick video. Oops, hold on. Yeah, hold on. Sorry.
Agile development is a
Oh,
way of
sorry.
reducing the risk in a project.
Can we get the voice?
Sorry, the
Can we get
audio.
the voice audio on that?
If it doesn't work, I'll just put this on it.
To see how an agile project works, let's compare it with a traditional project.
Sorry, can you guys hear?
A traditional project is one that uses the same techniques that have been used for decades.
Do we need an audio, Jack? Sorry? Because this just doing.
You can only control it from the side. I don't know. We'll put the microphone there.
Such as construction and engineering. A project like this has three major stages. The first stage is planning. If you're building a skyscraper or constructing a car, then the cost of planning are lower than the cost of construction. And so planning in a traditional project is long and detailed. The idea is to find out as many of the problems at the planning stage, where they can be fixed cheaply, rather than fixing them at build time when they're expensive. Once a long, detailed plan is ready, you can continue to stage 2, building. The building stage is where you turn the plan into reality. In a traditional project, the building comes after all of the planning is complete. There may be some preparation needed at the start of this stage to remove any obstacles and make sure that everything is ready for construction of whatever your product is. A successful building stage was always believed to result from rigorously following a detailed plan to the letter. You don't want any surprises. You just want to carry out the design. So long as everyone follows the plan, there will be no problems. Once the build's complete, you then come to the third and final stage of a traditional project, testing. Testing just needs to check that the builders followed the original plan. After all, the planners spent a long time making sure that their plan was perfect. So why did we ever stop using traditional project management techniques? Why did they fail? What's wrong with them? The problem is change. If requirements and circumstances never changed, then the traditional approach would probably work. But requirements do change. Circumstances change. Businesses have new requirements. Governments create new laws. Budgets get cut. Projects are rescheduled. So what happens when changes occur in a traditional project? The building stage, remember, was supposed to be just the implementation of a plan. But if something changes, that means that the plan is now wrong. What do? Do you just continue with the old plan? What if you can't? If the project is suddenly closed down before you got to the end of the build phase, what do you have to show for it? It might be that the only things you have are a large pile of planning documents and a half-built system. That's why traditional projects are often called waterfall projects. They only go one way. Once you're over the edge, you can't scrabble back to the top again. So, what can we do to reduce the risk of failure in a project? How would an agile project be different? In an agile project, we do all the same things that we do in a traditional waterfall project. We do planning. In fact, we do lots and lots of planning. But we try to keep the requirements concise and easy to understand. We call the requirements documents user stories because they try to specify the problem in terms that a user would understand. That makes sure that everyone stays focused on building the right things. We also build things, but we begin by building very small and simple things. In fact, in an agile project, a huge amount of importance is given to delivering something early. If we deliver something early, even if it's simplistic, we will at least have something to show if the project suddenly comes to an end. And of course, we also test. We test over and over again, all the time. In fact, the secret of Agile is that we do all three stages, planning, building and testing, over and over again. We create small plans, then build small things, then test the small things we built. Then we repeat with a few more features over and over again until the project finishes. That's why Agile development is a type of iterative development. We always try to have some sort of usable product available at all times, even if it's just something simple. But how do we manage requirements? With a backlog. A backlog is just a collection of user stories. Each story in the backlog might describe some important feature, or it might describe something less important. The key thing is that the backlog is prioritized. We keep track of the relative importance of stories and make sure that we do the really valuable work first and leave the less valuable work to the end. It might sound like Agile projects are a little paranoid. It's true, they are. We're always prepared for something to go wrong, because at some point, something will go wrong. Agile projects always adapt to circumstances. The system that you intend to build at the start of the project will likely be very different to the one you have when the project ends. And that's a good thing, because by the end of the project, you will have a much better idea of what the system needs to do. And if something really big happens, for example, if your project suddenly has to be delivered by June instead of September, you'll know that you'll have something of value that will be ready in time.
All right, that's done. So I'm sorry about the audio. It's obviously a little bit of technical issue there. So I hope you guys understood the video, what we're trying to say. So with Agile, 3 important processes: planning, development, testing, and it's just continuous. It's rigorous, annoying sometimes, repetitive, but that's what we need to do. We do that for the reason of making sure that we're building specifically what the clients want. Most times, the clients are always changing their mind. Most times, the clients want to change. Most times, the clients don't even understand what they want. So sometimes they want to say, see what you've built so far, then they can give you a feedback and say, well, based on what you've built, this is what we think, okay? So we've got the Agile framework. So just a quick overview, because like I said, we want to do less talk, more interaction with you guys. So when it comes to the roles, yeah.
So when it comes, sorry. So when it comes to the roles, we have a team of, sometimes it could be 5 or it could be up to 10 members in the team. So we have a product owner, we have a Scrum Master, then we have developers and a tester. So the key roles are, 1, the product owner. Who is the product owner? The product owner is the key stakeholder. The product owner could be the business analyst as well. The business analyst translating into a product owner, because within Agile, we don't have business analysis and we don't have project managers. So when we look at Scrum Masters, the Scrum Master is someone that actually facilitates, does not manage. We don't have any management within Agile. The Scrum Master is someone that helps plan the sprints, that facilitates, makes sure that there's no impediment when the development team is working. If there's any impediment, it is the responsibility of the Scrum Master to remove that. And we have the developers and the testing team.
Sorry, if there's an impediment, what does the Scrum Master do?
If there's an impediment, the impediment could be a dependency, an outside dependency on the project. So it's the duty of the Scrum Master to resolve that impediment, to resolve that dependency. I might be waiting on maybe the technical architect to give me information to be able to continue my development work. It is the role of the Scrum Master to do that and to plan the sprints, to actually tell us, like, okay, in sprint 1, what are the stories we're going to cover in sprint 1? And also sometimes manages stand-ups, the daily meeting.
You have a question?
Question for hello.
Hello, good evening. My question is to you, sorry. You mentioned earlier that you don't usually use business analysts when it comes to Agile or something, and I was just wondering that if that doesn't happen, if that doesn't happen, then who prepares the user stories?
Okay, within Agile, they don't call them business analysts. That's what it is. The role of a business analyst is undertaken by the product owner. Yes.
I've seen environments where you have a BA and you also have a product owner. The product owner is from the business, so.
Yes.
Okay, what normally happens is, like, 9 times out of 10, the percentage of organizations using 100% Agile methodology, it's quite slim. So some people use hybrid. They love the good part of waterfall, and they take the good part of Agile and merge it. So that's hybrid. So you could have.
So that's what it's called, Agile.
Yeah.
All right, let's just move on a little bit. Traction.
Sorry, you would have an opportunity to ask all these questions.
We've got a session for questions and answers.
Sorry.
All right, so ceremonies that happen during Agile. Okay, so we've got sprint planning, sprint review, sprint retrospective, and daily scrum. So the planning is beginning of a new sprint. Again, sprint means a time capsule of your development, testing, planning, development, testing. So it could be a 2-week thing, it could be a 3-week thing, depending on the organization. So your sprint planning is you go through what you call your product backlog. Simply what that means is all the requests from the business, what they want. Then you go through them and decide which ones you want to put in for this sprint, i.e. we want to enable user authentication. We want to make sure that when a user clicks on a search button, it brings back a result. Those are stories. Those are from the product backlog. So that's what you call a sprint backlog. So that's what you plan for. Then you do a review. So that's when you start doing your estimations. You start giving each story a task and an estimation for development, testing, and releasing it. Always remember, for each sprint, you have to have something new to demo to the business to say, this is what we've done, okay? Because there are 2 reasons why you're doing a demo. 1, to prove the concept. 2, to also get a feedback from the business. Because the business needs to let you guys know that you're doing the right thing, okay? So that's what you do for a sprint review. Then I'm going to jump into Scrum, daily Scrum, then I go into retrospective. So daily Scrum is just you guys meeting every day, and you have to meet every day. 30 minutes, 50 minutes, depends. You have to go through what you've done. So you talk about what you did previously, the day before, what you intend to do today, and if you have any impediments. So that's the impediments we're talking about. So for instance, as a tester, if it's the beginning of the sprint, I'll say, well, I've been able to review all the stories for this sprint. I've started writing my test scenarios, high-level test scenarios, and I've done 3 out of 10. Then the developer can say, okay, I've picked up one of the stories, I've started developing it. Then that's what you did yesterday. Today, continue picking up more stories to develop, continue picking up more stories to write test scripts for. Then if you have any impediments, we could say, well, the UAT environment is down, so I cannot deploy some of my new code in the environment. So that's an impediment. So it's the job of the Scrum Master to get back to the business and say, not when I say the business, I'm talking about the project team, those who are managing the infrastructure, to tell them, we've got an issue. If it doesn't get fixed, it's going to impact the timeline for this sprint. Now, always remember something. Because you have an impediment doesn't mean you cancel the sprint. You still have to deliver something. So you have to do an impact analysis, review what you've got, and say, okay, look, because we had this impediment, so rather than the 10 stories that we agreed initially that we were going to release, now we're going to release 5. But you need to feed that back to the business so that during demo, they are aware. Then sprint retrospective is where it is. You've gone through the sprint, you've done the demo to the business, they've given you a feedback, and within the team, you guys go through what you've done, and you identify what went well, what didn't go well, and what you want to improve on. Usually what didn't go well is the developers didn't develop well. Sorry if there are any developers here. Also, it could be basic things like, each time there was a release in the UAT environment, we weren't told on time, that impacted the testing period. It could be anything. So then you also identify what went well. Most times I always advise my test team, if you can, test in development environment, not as a sign-off, but just so that you familiarize yourself with what's been developed, so that it's a lot easier when you get into the UAT environment, you can have a quicker way of doing things. Product backlog, I've already explained that, but just to summarize, a product backlog is a list of items the business wants. So at the end of 9 months, they could want 100 things developed. Sprint backlog is, out of that 100, you pick maybe 20, if that's what you can accommodate within the sprint, for what you're going to develop. Out of that 20, hopefully you can demo it when you've built it. So in a nutshell, the life cycle of Agile looks a bit like this. I've talked about the preparation. I've talked about the cycle itself. You can see on the right-hand side, you can see the product owner, Scrum, team, stakeholders, and users. And see the product backlog, button chart, sprint backlog. Hopefully at the end of this session, we'll be able to get your details, and we can send off materials and links for you to read. I don't want to spend too much time explaining, because this usually takes about weeks to train people on. So I'm going to do another illustration because I like illustrating. Were there any guys last year who came for my session? Okay, so you can't talk.
You're not allowed.
You're not allowed. Don't even smile. You're already smiling. Don't smile. All right. I need 4 volunteers again. Not the research guys. Some different people. I'm going to look for someone that is not smiling.
Or someone looking away.
Someone looking away. Can you come forward, please? If that's okay?
Why is it so hard to get volunteers? Come on, guys.
Yes, come on. Come on. Yeah.
All right, 2 more.
2 more. Come on. Guys, yeah. Come out, please.
Lovely. Okay, so.
Yeah.
So,
1 more.
I'm a business, and I want an aircraft built. The purpose of the aircraft is to be able to fly. Okay? The person, so this is like a business bringing in a proposal to 4 prospective development companies. So the person who can build the craft that can fly the furthest gets the contract. Again, I need a craft that can fly. So can you please build me something? Yeah, with the paper.
It's a paper.
Yeah.
Just use your paper to build a craft.
Because you guys are going to throw it. So whoever builds the best craft that I can throw wins.
Yes, a craft.
Aircraft, sorry, an aircraft. And also because I'm a very difficult client, you guys have to build this in the next 30 seconds. So I need an aircraft. He's building an aircraft.
Yeah.
So I need a craft that I can throw. I really need to throw it. I have people here who are building, so I don't know if you guys want to look at what they're doing.
Yeah.
You done? Cool.
Okay.
I've got one. No,
There's no plans, no process.
Okay, hold on. Okay. Do you want to take?
Sure.
They're offering you. I don't know.
I gotta go on. Oh, no, I'll take that.
All right. The bid time is almost closing, sir. No, not draw.
Not draw.
Make,
create.
create. No, time is up. I said within 30 seconds, so
Yeah.
I don't know. All right then. So I need to test your crafts. So if you guys can okay, that's your craft. Cool. If you guys can tell me the name of your craft, why you built it the way you built it, and true. So this is the.
Yeah, I got the mic here.
No, don't. Can I just borrow this? So this is your start. You must not exceed that spot. So from that spot, you need to throw.
Someone's built something interesting. So I brought him out. So, yeah, I brought him out. So.
Okay.
Let me stand there for a minute.
Okay. All right. So go on, sir. What's the name of your craft?
Well,
Why
this
did
is
you
a
build
jet
it?
plane.
Yeah, cool.
And
the name? Yeah.
LT.
LT?
Yeah.
Why was it built that way?
Sorry?
Why was it built that way?
Because it's a fighter plane.
Cool. All right. Throw it.
Okay.
Woo!
Cool.
Fab. Yeah.
Yeah.
What the name of
All right, yeah,
Fly
go
high.
on.
Fab.
Fly high.
Yeah.
Why did you build it that way, though? Why did you build it that way?
Royal Highness. Princess, we wanted
aeroplane to reflect what you wanted in terms of like really flying hard. So as a result of what we understand you to want,
Okay.
you know, we've designed this aircraft to fly hard for you.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, Tron. All right, then. Next. Yeah, go on.
There's a running impediment.
The name is Princess Beatrice.
Okay.
Princess Beatrice.
All right, go on. Go for it.
You have to go back to the drawing board.
Okay, watch this. Yeah.
This is a supersonic aircraft.
Lovely.
It's supposed to be the fastest.
Yeah.
The reason why it's built this way is because we want it to not to be a conventional aircraft.
Okay.
Like the one that we had.
Yeah.
That crashed. So
Okay.
it's going to be a replacement, right? So everybody watching, it's a normal aircraft. We take 1 hour to get it to your destination, but this is expected
okay.
to take you 5 minutes.
Show. All right, cool. I'm glad we had this session. Okay, so there are 4 wrong answers and 2 right answers. He's got the right answer, but I'm going to illustrate. First of all, I bet you my craft can go further than that. Secondly, I said build a craft, not an airplane. Can you show yours, please?
Can I name it? Can I name it?
Name it. Go
I'll
on.
call it 00.
Yeah, go on. So, I said build a craft that can fly, not a plane. Assumed.
Exactly.
You guys are not learning, are you? So, this is the same problem that we have even at work. Most people just hear one bit and they take it on. So, we're going to be having lots of problems like this if people don't ask questions. I said you got 30 seconds. Someone wanted to ask me a question, but was already too late.
Can I just ask?
Yeah, go on.
Because as a project manager, really,
Yeah.
when you have what they call assumptions, you have to validate the assumptions anyway. So I come from waterfall background, okay? So basically, when you're doing the PID, you have to actually, if there's dependencies and assumptions there, you need to actually validate the assumptions anyway. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Agile, you ask questions constantly.
Exactly.
Before you build, ask. While you build it, ask. Demo, ask.
Could we take one question?
Yeah, go on.
We'll take 2 questions, that's it, and then
Yep.
we have to get back.
Sorry, you can go back to your seat.
From what you've described,
Thank you very much.
So
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about how much money do I have to spend?
That's all right.
And that's what, just to add to that, that's why you have to be critical about when constructing your user story. Your user story says, as someone, I want to be able to do an action. Why? So that I can do X, Y, Z. I want to be able to construct, as a pilot or an engineer, I want to be able to construct a craft so that I can fly in it to my destination because I'm going on holiday. Something like that. You have to be able to justify your user story.
Okay, Job, just want to ask a question over there. Yeah, go on.
So I'm throwing this in, but I'm a BA and from a waterfall background. I seem to always, when it gets to just that illustration you just put forward about getting your requirements, but there are certain assumptions you make beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
So things like you need to do some analysis. They're asking for things. User stories are specific, the things that they need.
Yep.
But there hasn't been some sort of thought through it that do they actually, is that what they, what they're proposing is actually what's needed? Okay, so that's why I kind of I'm a bit, agile, and I think I kind of hold back on it, because you don't do those sort of analysis, because you just have requirements that just come through, and that's all you just take on board to then see how you develop it through.
Okay, cool. So I'll just quickly answer, but being that Yinka is the BA, she'll go into details. But like I always say to people on projects, the whole purpose of Agile is you keep getting feedback. So when a requirement is being specified, it's usually high level. So you go to the business and ask them, what exactly? So using this illustration, I was being vague, well, on purpose for this exercise, but most times businesses are that vague. I already know I want a craft, and I know I want it to be the one that could fly the furthest, and that's it. So in this case, it could be that maybe the business wanted a plane, but it's left for the project team to give options and say, look, you want a craft, but these are the possible crafts that are available. Why? What's the objective of that craft? What do you want it to do? So if I say, I don't want something fancy, I just want something that can go the furthest. Then we can say, look, we've got the rumpled up paper. Then you can say, look, you know what, I don't mind something that doesn't really fly long, but at least it looks fine. That's already a specification from the business. So the business, you're driving out the info. So, I mean, I'm not a BA, but I know there's certain questions you ask, and you always have to not lead the business, but try and draw out the answers from the business. Because at the end of the day, once they've given you all the specifications, they've already signed off on what they want. So if you build it according to specification, and you do a demo, and they're not happy with it, and they want to start moaning, you can draw back your documentation and say, well, this is what you signed off. And during the demo, you signed it off. So that's all. I mean, don't think Agile, we don't do documentation. We do. But it's not high on document. You're not going to spend months writing up requirements, documents, and all that. So that's why we break it into bits, and we're constantly asking questions. Constantly. Even during development, you do some level of show and tell. You could just send a screenshot and say, look, we've done this so far. What do you think? Yeah, sign it off. Then you can continue.
Yeah, a business analyst, it's not, when I speak to people, they think the only thing a business analyst does is to gather requirements, and it's just requirements. It's not only gathering requirements. And as a business analyst, you have to be able to elicitate, to try and draw out the requirements from the business, because they don't know what they want necessarily. They have a vague idea. So you have to be able to ask the right questions to draw out the requirements. Business analysis is all about asking questions. Why do you need that? Why do you need 2 people to authenticate? Why don't we have 1 person authenticating? Why do you need that? It's a waste of time. You always need to ask the questions to actually be able to articulate what the business wants. It's all about articulation. Because at the end of the day, they tell you, they give you a requirement that you have not necessarily articulated, because you are the go between the business and the technical team. You relate that to the technical team, and the technical team builds something that is not necessarily fulfilling the requirements. So it's all about asking questions. That's why sometimes they don't like business analysts, because we ask questions. We ask, like, why do you need that? Why do you need this? Why don't you do this? And propose. I always like to use the word propose. I propose new solutions, new things for you, instead of just having a vague idea or a user story or a requirement that is not clear, that is too high level.
Okay, so we've got a group work, but we just want to open up time for more questions, because I know there's a lot we're drumming into your ears right now. So we want to try and clarify as much as we can, so that during the exercise, you guys have grabbed most of the things and you can apply it. Okay, so we can take about 4 questions.
4 questions.
4.
Yeah. 1.
2.
Let 2.
Do you know, make it 6.
Yeah, 6 questions.
Questions, so that we can
1,
do this
2,
quickly.
3,
Yeah.
4, and 5,
5,
6.
6, yeah.
Hello, everyone. My
Hi.
name is Larry.
Larry.
It's just
Hi,
a
Larry.
really quick question about a particular resource. So if there was a resource that maybe, I don't know, like an Agile Bible, something you point us to for people who are new to Agile or just starting out.
Yeah, there are few sites I normally refer people to. There's one called, I think it's Mountain Goat or Goat Mountain, one of the two. If you just search on Google, you would see it. Something else that a lot of people tend to overlook, YouTube. Go on YouTube. You've got lots of things there.
Yeah.
Even if you
Lots
want,
of
if it's with respect to the tools that you're going to use, search for it. If it's respect to someone doing this little bit of workshop like we're doing, also go on it. But Goat Mountain is quite good. It's got case studies. It's got examples. I mean, there are even other things that we've not really talked about that I don't want to spend too much time. But like I said, you guys try your best possible to drop your emails so I can send out an email to you guys with links and resource materials to go through. Okay, next question.
Hello. My question is, if there is no BA, no solution architect in Agile, who does that? Because if you haven't gathered, like you just explained, if you haven't gathered the requirements properly, then you build the wrong thing. That's my first question.
Okay. Yeah, just before Yinka answers it, no BA, no solutions architect? Is that what you're saying? BA and solution architect. Not all projects have solution architects. It's nice, it's a nice to have, but not everyone. Most times developers call themselves architects. It's not really the same. But it's a nice to have, but it's not imperative. In terms of a BA, well, like Yinka said, BA is just a term. The role is what the person does. If you don't have a BA on site, you still need someone who's going to act as a product owner, who's going to be interrogating the business and asking the right questions. So if they've got the relevant skills to do that, and they're, for instance, the PM, fair enough, that's good. So they're doing two things. I mean, Yinka and I work together, and I know she's a PM and a BA on certain projects we do together. So it could happen. It's not an ideal world, but it could happen. But the roles have to be defined. For Agile, you just have to have those roles. You can't overlook it, unfortunately.
So are you saying we shouldn't get caught up on the names of the?
Don't get caught up on the name, because some people think being a Scrum Master means you're the QA. No, not all QAs are Scrum Masters. Not all PMs are Scrum Masters. It's just a role.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
It's just a role.
It's performing different functions because the team is highly skilled and they can perform different functions. A business analyst is a title. So the role that gets performed could be done by anybody.
Yeah.
Yes, so my question really was, where does it sit? Does it sit with the business or does it sit within the Agile team?
Okay. To answer
Can I just ask my second question? Sorry, because if the microphone is taken away from me.
Okay.
My second question is, when you started, you said you do the most important things first in the list. You say you do the most important things
Are you
first.
talking about priorities?
Prioritizing,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So my question about that is, if you do what's more important and you leave the less important one, what happens if your important thing is dependent on the less important one?
Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm on a roll today.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me start with the latter question. Your priorities are defined by the business, not by the project team. So if the business says this is what needs to be done, first of all, you've got to do your analysis within the team to find out if it can be achieved. If it can't be achieved, that's why you have your sprint planning with the business. If it can't be achieved for reasons like the less important ones need to be done first, then you feed back to the business and say, nope, we need to have this structure built in first before we start putting on the functionalities. So we don't define it, it's the business. But you need to, like I said, you're the expert. You're the one. If the business says, no, I want this done, they say, well, you can't do it.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. Secondly, does the BA go native? That's what we normally say. When you are a project team, but you start being the business. It's not really ideal. Most times it's good for you to keep the roles within the project team, because the BA within, or the product owner within the project team, understands the constraints, not the business. The business can have a point, a person that is a point contact. That's what you call a stake owner, but it's not advisable.
Okay, just.
It's just, yeah. Okay.
I had a question on spike, the concept of spike within Agile. I've read a bit on it, and kind of says you're not clear about how to implement a user story, and I think the development takes it as part of the sprint to do some gap analysis or impact analysis. I'm not too clear because I've read up a lot of things on it. I just wanted a really project scenario type example that you can give to clarify where spike actually comes in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spike as it is where it is. Spike means something that will probably impact the whole sprint, i.e. we can't do it within the sprint. Because most often times, spikes are maybe a waterfall level, a methodology you call epics. Spikes are very high level. It's just a concept. So the concept can be, we want to be able to develop a search engine that fetches data from a third-party company. So the reason that's a spike is you want to develop the search engine, but you need to have an API, okay, application interface.
Okay.
Now, the API will probably need to search or needs to be mapped to something to fetch the data, and you don't know what's on the other side. So that's why it's called a spike. You need more time to investigate. That's just what it means. So a spike might be 3 stories in one, but before you find out if it's 3 stories in one, you accommodate it in the sprint as something you want to investigate, not to build. So I'm not sure if you understand.
Okay.
So most times,
I think we have to move to the workshop now, because we are mindful of the fact that there are some people that just want to get some of the hands-on feel of it. So if there are very, very technical questions, you can ask Ayem or Yinka after the. We don't want to sort of like digress. So if you want us to go straight to the workshop now, sorry about that. I'll come back. Yeah.
Does this apply in construction or, say, railway upgrades, projects, things like that? That's what I'm more involved in.
Okay.
Is this relevant to my field? Or is it
In construction?
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, like I say to people, Agile is not just constrained to IT. It could be, construction. Even in building, like if you want to build a house, for instance, if you're building a house are you Nigerian?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you're building a house in Nigeria. I just send a picture and say, build it. I'll be back in 9 months and see what you've done. You're not going to do that, are you? When they're building the foundation, you're going to say, send pictures, let me look at. Yeah? When you're putting the bricks together, you're going to say, send me pictures, let me look at. But before they start doing the plastering, you say, well, because of this layout, I'm not sure. Can you break that wall and do it differently than plaster? That's Agile.
Let's assume the pictures are authenticated to make sure.
So, a lot of people think Agile is IT. Oh, I can only apply it in IT. You don't. It's still it's a process, because each time. So, like for instance, you say I need this done in 9 months. So you're going to give them milestones. You're going to say, first 2 months, you guys should have done the foundation at this. Do not do anything else until I see. Then the next 2 months, you say, you can put up the rafting, you can put up this, but before you start painting, let me see.
Yeah.
So
it's a building block, and that's what Agile is. You build it in little bits, and you build upon the previous sprint, and you're building it up that way, so if you can have that.
It's a lot better to do it that way, rather than 9 months, you just go home and you see that you've asked for a duplex and it's actually a bungalow they built you.
Okay, should we...
Okay, so we're going to do the workshop, but again, I need us to be quite mindful. We've gone through the process. We know we need to ask questions. We know we don't need to make assumptions. While we're building, if we're unsure of certain things, we have to constantly interrogate the business. So what I'm going to suggest, because we're quite full, I'm going to suggest if we can have a group of 4, I think.
4. Because they have to share the load. Are we going to do it on paper?
On paper.
On paper, okay, yes.
So we need groups of 4.
4, yeah. And within the 4 teams, let's think about someone that would be the business analyst, or the product owner, the Scrum Master, a developer, and a tester. So we need those 4 roles within the team.
I think 5 would be.
5, okay,
2, 2, and then 2 at the back.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
1 team here, 1 team here.
Yeah. So if you can join up to be 5.
So we have 5 teams, so 2 roles each.
Yeah.
Talk within yourselves, identify who you feel is a product owner. So you can, are we allowed to?
Yeah, you can turn the chairs around. Make yourself comfortable, please. Just turn it around and, So team of 5, have you?
Want to be part of the team here? Or? Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. What do you want to do?
Huh?
Do they have to name themselves? Or?
Yeah, you guys can name yourselves. Yeah, and just turn your chairs around, or just try and...
I think you can actually, you can pull them apart. I think you just have to lift, this one up and pull them apart. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So what's this team called? What's this team called?
Hi guys. I'm going to tell you soon, but just identify who you think is your tester, identify who you think is your product owner, also developer.
Yeah.
So, and Scrum Master. Yeah, so don't forget, the developer is the person who's actually going to do, because we're going to give you a piece of paper, who's going to actually do the drawing.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay. So, do you want to join
us?
Hi,
guys. So.
Hi. Very well, thank you.
No, you can sit here. Yeah.
You know what? I think you can.
Turn your chairs for.
You can
for
lift
comfort.
it up. No, you can lift it up actually.
Tell you soon.
Yeah, and it's a lot easier. All of you are together. All of you.
We can take some.
You can join that team. Some people can join that team. There's few people in that team. Do you want to join that team? Like those, yeah. Because there's a lot of. So you can have maybe like 1 or 2 people as maybe like a Scrum Master, product owner, and you can discuss, yes. Ask questions, guys.
For a minute. Yeah, we need paper.
So should they select one person?
I'm not kidding. Yeah, so I can just show them sample.
Okay. Team Chelsea, hold up your hands. Team Chelsea, hold up your hand. Yep.
Okay.
Team Best, hands up. Yep. Team Agile. Yep.
Do we know what we're building?
Team Incredible.
No, we're going to tell you in a minute, yes.
No.
So just agree who's going
Team
to be the
Incredible.
product owner, who's going to be the Scrum Master, the
Can't hear me.
developer, and the tester.
Team Incredible.
Within the team. Just agree who's going to be. Yeah, you can have
And
two of
Team
them, so
Good
you can
Life.
discuss. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. Yes.
How many people in this team?
We're going to tell you. We're going to tell you. Don't forget to ask questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, are we all ready? Are we all ready? Yeah, it's not coming through. Oh, I know the problem. Sit it.
It's not on.
It's gone. Hi, guys. Hi. So,
Do you want to be in a setting? I'll
Hello?
show you what to do. Yes. You can.
Hi, guys.
Yeah.
Hello. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to build a form. I need you guys to listen.
Actually started. Yeah, it's 20 minutes. I had to do quite a few of it.
So this is what normally happens in most businesses. The client is talking and the project team
They're not
know
listening.
what they should do and they start doing it. Hello? All right, thanks guys. So we're going to build a form for myself and Yinka, we own a hotel and we want to build a form for people booking in. Unfortunately, we were meant to have laptops for you guys and so you can do it online, but because the group is quite big, it's going to be difficult for everyone to be cramping on little screens. So we want to build a form. Yeah, and the only guys that are allowed to talk to myself and Yinka are the product owners.
Those are your stories. So I'd advise you to start writing.
So the product owners would need to come. So each team, their product owner will come and meet us, talk to us, go back to their team, and relate. We don't want to, so we're not going to use the mic. So you guys will come to our offices. We'll talk to you about what we want to build, and you guys can go ahead. But just to make life a little bit easy for you, we have a sample of a form that we like, but it's not exactly what we want, but it's a bit close to it. So let me just make sure that I'm not showing you. So this is the sample of the form. Myself and Yinka, we've built our hotel. We want to start getting guests in. We just saw a form like this online, and we want to build something like this. So this is the ask from us. Okay, let's just see. Full screen. So we'll make it a little bit easy for you guys. So, hotel, unfortunately, I'm not, okay.
It's really tiny.
It's really, let me just see if I can zoom in.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Okay. So, hotel, I want to build a form for online booking. What we're interested in is getting names of our guests. It's very key for us because we want to use it for marketing in future. There are 3 types of rooms we offer. And each room must not exceed 4 guests. So that's all I'm going to give you guys. Okay?
So consider these as your epics. Very, very high level, the epics. So draw out your stories from these epics.
Okay, so now just so you guys can understand, the forms will look something like this. So the way it's going to work, because we've got exactly, I think, 40 minutes. So each sprint is 7 minutes.
Yeah, half an hour.
Is it half an hour?
Half an hour,
Yeah,
yeah?
so we've got more time.
Okay,
Yeah.
so each sprint is 5 minutes. So you've got something to do in 5 minutes, time up, you tell us what you've done so far. If you're not happy, we'll give you feedback, keep going back and forth. So 5 minutes starts from now. If you guys need clarity, just ask your product owner to come and meet us. That's all.
Either the developer or the product owner will do a demo at the end. So identify who's going to be your address.
By the way, guys, just so we can throw a bit of a bone in this to help you guys, someone needs to draw what we want. So we just want 1 piece of paper per group.
The product owner will bring it.
Okay.
Should I get the names of their products?
Yeah.
Should I choose the big ones?
Yeah, yeah. So they can, this will be the final.
Do you have enough pen?
No.
Huh?
No. We can just use
Okay, all teams, we've got a show and tell in 2 minutes, so start building on your piece of paper. Again, we've got 2 minutes to build on your paper. Anyone that doesn't build on their paper, we are not entertaining the show and tell. So, sorry guys, I'm trying to throw a bone here. Without you drawing on that paper, yeah, the forms have to be on the paper provided. So whatever you're drawing has to be on that piece of paper provided.
Please start prepping for your show and tell. And please make sure you're able to show me something, otherwise you are burning budgets. Time for show and tell.
All right, then we've got time for show and tell.
Who's doing your demo here?
Right, guys.
Okay.
Can we stop for a minute?
Yeah.
Can we all just stop for a minute, please? Can we all just stop for a minute? Can we all just stop for a minute?
Stop, please.
Okay, so you guys can appreciate this a little bit more. This is not MasterChef. We said time up is time up. But it'll be good for you to see what the others have done so that any feedback we give them would also help you. So just down tools and listen.
Yep.
Okay? All right then.
Pick
So
out
what's your
who's
team?
going to do the demo here.
Chelsea. So Chelsea's
Who's
going to
doing the
start
demo?
first.
Who's doing your demo?
Can you guys just
Your
listen?
demo. Who's doing your demo?
Can you guys just listen?
Listen, please.
Just listen. All right, Chelsea, go on.
Can you listen, please? There's a show and tell happening. Please listen.
All right, just listen.
No?
All right, go on.
Do you want to edit this as we're going along? Or?
Just that.
Okay,
Yeah,
closer,
right.
yeah.
All right.
Okay, it's working now.
Go for it.
Okay.
Okay, so as a hotel, I'll just go through my stories just to confirm. I said guest names and contact details are very important. There are 3 types of rooms, and each room should not exceed 4. 4 guests. All right, go on.
Okay, so can everyone hear me? Yeah, okay, cool. This first sprint is just like a demo.
Sorry, guys. I am going to behave like a typical business, so I'm not usually like aggressive, but you know. Okay, go on.
Right, so this is just a demo on what we've done so far, like a rough sketch.
And I'm Scottish.
So this is a web app. What we do here.
Where are the dates?
The dates.
Yeah.
They're right here.
Okay.
Yep. So you fill
Why
in
is
the
there a
dates.
drop down?
There's a drop down here.
Why?
Because it's.
I gave you a sample of a form.
Okay.
Sorry.
We can amend that. We can make changes to that.
You have just wasted our time.
It's okay.
That is not what I require. Where are my requirements? What
What
I'm
sort
so upset. Where are my
Right.
requirements?
Okay. So, what's your role?
My role?
Yeah.
Product owner.
Okay. Cool. No, not satisfied. All right.
No.
So
Not happy.
next.
Not happy. Sorry. Rework.
Team Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next team.
Team Best. Larry.
So sorry. That's a sorry guys. Just so you can understand what we're doing. That's a hint.
Exactly.
That's a hint that if your forms are not like this, because we said to you, we have a template.
Yeah, the template we have here is.
Yes. Dates rejected. Yes. Because
Yeah.
that's the sample of what I gave.
So
I didn't tell
So
you.
when
I
you
wanted
guys
to
go
drop down.
back, just start making your amendments if you can. Just say, "Oh, now we've done it according to your form."
Oh, you can
get-
still see. You can still see a little bit. You see the.
Sorry, I know it's not too
Yeah.
clear. Sorry about that.
Hello? Hello, can you guys please sit down, please, so we can...
Okay.
Team Best,
Yeah, I
Team
know.
Best now next. Larry Thomas.
Cool.
I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Okay, let's turn. Yeah.
For
Can
Team
you-
Best,
can
first
you
of
see
all,
that?
we have an impediment because we got this quite late.
Okay, cool.
So we couldn't do, so it's not legible. So
That's
you're not
fine, that's
releasing
fine.
A lot of stuff. So
Yeah.
we have to go back to them on that.
Right.
We've tried to capture the
Tayo,
Yeah.
did you ask for gender?
journey.
No, I didn't.
So why do we have gender there?
Yeah, but basically, if you
No, I'm not
Yeah,
bothered about
excuse
genders.
Me, did you actually gather my requirements? Did you listen to what I told you? Did you ask questions, or are you assuming?
we've not actually implemented it, so
No, you have. This is a show and
This
tell.
is a show and tell. You've developed it.
This
You've
is a show
developed
and
it.
tell.
Yeah.
You've developed
sorry,
that.
sorry, guys, so you can understand. A show and tell, you've developed it.
You've done it. You've
done
finished
it.
the work for that
'Cause
sprint.
Each sprint. Wait, hold on. Yeah. Do you know what marketing purpose?
Exactly.
But it could be that you could be.
Could, from your assumption, not mine.
Assumption. You assumed.
So that's you telling
Exactly.
me my business? But
No,
that's you telling me my business.
You've told me.
Sorry, guys.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry, guys. We're not trying to prove who's right or wrong. But at the end of the day, we are the business. I said for marketing purposes. You do not know. I could have 3 other businesses.
Yeah.
You don't know. Don't make the assumption. Sorry, guys. I'll let you go on. Cool.
So basically, if you're saying you don't want a gender, we thought you must have missed it out in your requirement.
No, we didn't miss it out.
Yeah. We intentionally didn't want it. We intentionally didn't want it.
Sorry. So that you can understand. So that you can understand this well. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15. You had a 3-week sprint, so 15 means each story you spend 2 days on it, yeah?
Right.
Okay, so you spend 2 unnecessary days building gender. That's a waste of my time.
Yes.
And I pay you for it.
You've burnt budgets.
Yeah.
I'm paying for this, remember.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, all we can say right now is we're sorry.
Okay, cool.
If you don't want that.
Okay, yeah, go on.
Thank you.
Just to apologize for that, but
Okay.
just to reinforce that.
Right, I know. Sorry.
This is continuous.
It's so remove the gender. We don't need it. No. You do that when you.
Yeah, you take that away.
Okay, so just quickly, I'm going to go through the forms quickly. Thanks for the first name. Thanks for the last name. Address, cool. Postcode, country, cool. Email, cool. Phone, cool. Mobile. That's a bit confusing for some of our users. Room types. How many? Okay, so it's a drop-down list, yeah?
It's a drop down here which includes the singles, the couples, and the family.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Right, okay, then number of guests, cool. Age, didn't ask for it. Date from, date to, cool, thanks. We'll move on to the next thing. I'm going to comment on that one in a minute, but thanks for that.
Thank you.
Next one.
Team Agile Bio.
Okay, so as much as possible, I need you guys to do me a favor. Don't amend your forms. Just come as it is. But there's some guys. Listen.
Hey,
feedback,
hi guys.
Feedback. Guys,
Hello, guys.
listen, guys. Feedback. Something very important that a lot of you, I'm sure you're gonna miss. Yeah. So after this, cool.
Okay.
Ouch.
I think the product manager has changed.
First name. Okay. Cool.
I'll just quickly explain what we've done so far. We're going by the sprint. We've only done this for the first sprint.
Okay, cool.
And what we've got here is the very important thing is the location where the hotel is, the name of the hotel, and the logo. So if you go on our website, you will know with the logo that you are on the hotel website, not any other one.
Sorry, but I sound very critical, but I'm just going to be playing the devil's advocate here, so bear with me. Who gave you the logo?
We just thought you will have a logo as a hotel.
So is that a placeholder? Is that a placeholder for the logo?
It's a placeholder. We haven't built.
So it's empty.
Yes, at the moment.
Cool. Then that's fine.
Yeah.
If you've allocated space for it, that's fine. But then again, all I need is just the structure of the form. We can always deal with that later, but no worries. That's cool.
Okay.
What else?
So what we've got here, we've got the title, the first name and the surname.
Okay.
We've got the email address and the telephone number. We haven't got the home address at the moment because you've said it's an online booking.
Okay.
And you said it's going to be a mobile app as well. So we are thinking about that. You said you wanted a red color.
Quick question. If I move on from this page to the next page and I don't fill up my first name, can I progress? Sorry.
You will have to.
So is it mandatory?
It is mandatory to fill your first name and your surname and your email and your telephone number because you're capturing it for marketing purposes, you said.
All right, cool, thanks.
Thank you.
Next.
Thank you.
So,
yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Team Incredible next. Team Incredible next.
Yeah. Push it through.
Okay, so Toyo Henry, product owner and one of the team of developers, so we decided to come out together here this morning. So based on what you said to us, we're on your webpage, and this is our first sprint. So once you put in a few more details for us, we'll be able to add more features onto the second one.
Okay,
So that's
I'm quite happy that you've got the first name, last name, email, password, mobile, address, mandatory. But whose address?
So the client.
it's the client's,
The guest.
the guest's address.
We didn't ask for it.
Well, what I understood from my brief from you was that the client's or customer's details were very important to you.
Yeah.
You wanted to get that, and that's what we tried to make them do here in this sprint.
So my assumption is you guys were not listening to me because I said to you. Email.
Email.
Yeah.
We didn't specify we wanted the address. In this day and age, digital world, everybody has. If you can go online,
Okay, I understand
you must
that.
have an
I
email
understand.
address.
Sorry, guys. We're not here to win arguments. We're just here to show you
Yes.
how the business thinks. I don't want anyone's address.
I see this every day. I'm a business. I see
don't
it every
want
day.
their
So,
address.
So the thing is, what you shouldn't do, which our lady is doing, is you're actually telling the business how to do the business,
yeah.
which is a bit wrong because.
But you did say contact.
Yeah, and I've specified it.
Contact the marketing.
Yeah, and she kept.
You use that for demographics.
Listen.
I do not
listen,
want.
Listen. Listen. Okay, so now so that you can understand how this works. Yeah, you've suggested an address. I don't want it.
Yes.
Then it can be taken off.
But you've wasted time developing it.
Yes.
Contact details.
Did you ask me before you built the address? Exactly.
Yes. It's all about asking questions, the right questions, drawing out questions.
No,
you know?
see,
Don't
guys-
assume that I want something.
Guys, you need to understand
one
something.
person,
Guys, you need to understand something.
One person, please.
At most, build the basic based on what the client has told you.
Yeah.
Never build additions.
Yeah. It's a building block.
Because it will probably take them 2 days to remove that. Who knows what code is going to affect? Who knows what they've linked it up to?
Yeah.
And I'm paying for it. So build the basics. If you're not sure, come and ask. No one came to ask me. You just said contact details. You went off. Why don't you say, how about this? How about that? How about that? How about that? No one did. Okay, cool. Go on.
So as you don't want the address,
Cool.
our next sprint. So we let them save, and then we take them to the next page.
All right. So how many pages?
It's 2 pages.
2 pages. I want 3. I didn't specify that, but I want 3.
You want to write out, and we'll add that to your.
Yeah, which leads to my next one. No one asked me how many pages. I've just put that up. I've just put up number 4. There are a number of other requirements that I'm going to introduce. I just purposely introduced the first 3, and this is the 4th one. But no one asked me how many pages. Guess what? No one has asked me. Only one. No. We're not even dealing with the payments yet. Only one group asked me for the names of the rooms. No one has asked me for the pricing. I'm sure. Yeah. Say. Yeah. But did you say how much? I said pricing. I didn't say name. You were the only group that asked for the names, but no one asked for the pricing.
And I just want to point out something. When you're asking your questions, when you're asking the business the questions,
did you
ask the most relevant questions?
No, you said
for
payments,
that particular
but
sprint.
you didn't say.
It's very important.
No, you said payment. You didn't say price of each room.
Yeah, payments. Yeah.
All right. So cool.
So we know that
You're the last group.
most expensive room.
Yeah. Okay. Again. I've given you hints. So the next sprint.
Yeah.
So 5 minutes, next sprint.
Next sprint, 5 minutes.
No, just
Okay,
add
I'll
on
give
it.
you- I'll
Just
give you
add on it.
another one.
Add on it. No, add on it.
Add. Okay, add on it.
Yeah, you can come.
Oh, sorry, one more group.
Sorry, last group.
One more group.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry, you want more?
Add on what you've got. Yeah.
You add on what you okay. Just add on what you.
Okay, we've got one more group.
We'll just ignore the tiny bits and pieces up here. And obviously from feedback that you've given to other groups, we already got some feedback on what to do. So we're capturing the personal details first of all, and obviously you already mentioned that you do not want the physical location of whoever is booking the hotel. We've tried to capture here the arrival and departure date and day.
Only group that did that. Time according to the form. According to the form, according to my form, not your form. So I'm going to put up my form again, but according to my template, this is the only group that did it. Date, arrival time.
Yeah.
Can I see?
No.
All right then, cool. Go on. Sorry, sorry. It's very, very important thing. No, it's. You've just put date. I gave you a form.
Did you ask?
But I gave you a template. I said it has to be. So the template was your building block, and it was left on there for a while. So that was your building block. I said it must. I know it wasn't too visible, but all right, cool. The last thing I'm going to mention, according to this group, guys, I need you to listen. I need you to listen, guys. There's something this group did that all the other groups didn't do. They actually have the number of guests as a drop down, which, if you're going to let me land, which specifies the maximum number. Okay, cool. All right, go on. All right, thanks. No, you got 5 minutes for the next one.
Next sprint. Okay, yeah.
Outstanding and.
So you're working on the feedback. And you're also working on what I've just displayed. I am sorry the screens are not too visible.
You know, when you take another paper, that means you're starting from scratch with your coding. So that means the 2 weeks you've spent, you've just wasted that time. You've burnt budget. Yeah, you've burnt budget. If you have another page and you start from scratch, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, good. Okay, Newsflash,
please.
The client has just told you guys that he actually wants something else. Number 6.
Yeah.
So we offer pickup arrangements from the airport or rail station for free if booking the room type is Zeus.
Yep.
Paid otherwise. Okay? So it's free if you book
is the most expensive
Zeus. But if you don't book Zeus, you have to pay for it.
Yep.
Okay, so we're open for questions.
You didn't ask the first time.
Hello.
About the
Because we were busy trying to develop the form, and we did put different types, but we didn't have names for them.
One week of development has just gone, so you have only one more week till the end of the sprint.
I have to put the time to. Are they going to present this one as well? The time is almost gone. Yeah. Hi guys. I'm mindful that we are running out of time. Can you bring in your presentations now? I know, I understand. Don't worry. It's not. So that he can explain it as we go along.
Pickup is £50 standard.
Sorry?
£50 standard.
And what's the price range for the
hotel? So based on room type.
£240, the most expensive one.
What's the lowest?
120.
And you've got how many room types?
Three.
So what's the middle? What's the
180.
So you've got your standard room.
Yeah.
You've got your. So you've got.
Okay, these are the list of the rooms. Yeah.
Guys, we have to pack it in now. Sorry.
£50. Pickup
Sorry.
is £50.
From anywhere, real or
From the airport.
From the airport only. Can we pick up from the if it's a train station? Are we picking up?
Yeah, you can.
And it's 50 flat.
50 flat.
Don't worry, you'll not be getting a medal at the end of it. Come on, guys.
No way.
Stephen, the room types, do you have any other names for the other two, or should we assume?
No, we have two other names. It's let me see.
Guys, settle down, please. Sorry.
So we're running out of time, so.
Sorry, guys. Hello.
So we've got Eris 180. Don't take a
Hello,
picture.
guys.
Yes.
Sorry.
Just give them the answer.
Yeah.
Eris 180.
Sorry. Sorry, guys. Sorry, because we need to round up. Guys, we need to round up. Sorry. So we're just going to give you the answers. Yeah, but we do need to round up. So if you guys can just pay a little bit of attention, if you don't mind. But thanks, guys, because you guys, at least you understand how, I know it's very constrained. You know, things that should happen in 2 weeks, you did it in 5 minutes.
Absolutely. It's
but
fantastic.
you can see how manic it is.
Yeah.
Yep. And you can see how agile it is. What you guys had to keep going back and forth.
Exactly.
That's why it's called agile.
Agile. Asking questions.
Asking questions
yes.
and all that. So let me just quickly go through it. Right. So I added just a few more requirements mid-sprint. And guess what? You guys accepted it.
Nobody should. Once you start a sprint, you can't add requirements. Everybody should have said we can't do it.
You've already planned for it.
Yes, you've planned for your sprint.
You've planned for your sprint. And I said to you guys, I called in and I said, hey, I need number 6. And everybody just
jumped at it.
No one said to me, we've already planned for it. This is going to impact a sprint.
You didn't
and
say.
We can't do it. No, in Agile. Sorry? No, I didn't. I said 5 minutes. So what happened? You guys just went ahead and started developing. You shouldn't have. All right, so guys, let me just give you the answers. So listen, guys. Sorry about that.
Guys, they're showing us the answers now.
So listen, guys. Listen. Thanks for that. Right. So lessons learned. 1, if the client mid-sprint asks for something new, don't just jump and do it. You need to say, hold on, this would impact us. How serious is it? Can you wait for the next sprint? If it's critical to their business survival, then you can say, yeah, cool, we can take it in, but we'll drop something.
Yes.
Otherwise,
you need to be
don't
able
take
to
it.
push back on the business.
Yeah.
You might be working, the stakeholder might be a director. You shouldn't be scared enough to push back on the requirements. To say, I can't do it.
Just to give you an idea of what the form should actually look like. That's you.
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry, we're getting there. Sorry. We're being pushed for time. Right, so this is what I actually wanted. Someone asked me for the banner and asked for the color, and that's why it's red. No one else did. That was the only person that did. No, I'm just saying, you know. Okay. I said someone did. I didn't say no one did. I said someone did. Then also, someone asked me what I wanted on page 2, which was the pickup arrangement. But then again, no one asked, I'm not sure if anyone asked, but did anybody consider the fact that if they don't book for zoos, how much it's going to cost?
Yes.
Did anyone? I didn't say no one did.
They did. Yes.
Then also, I would have liked an arrival time. Then a special request was just a free text field where you can put in your details and all that. But as you guys can see, that's what Agile is all about. It's going back and forth, going back and forth.
Yeah.
Again, apologies that it's really a short period for a workshop. Most times, Agile workshops do take a couple of weeks, but you've done good so far. I mean, that's what you guys have to understand. You've done exceedingly good, but you've also
well done,
learned.
guys.
But you've also learned from the mistakes.
Yeah.
I.e., don't make assumptions.
Yeah.
Don't be quick to say, yeah, we can do it.
Yeah.
Because that's what normally happens in a lot. Yeah.
Take it back to the team, discuss with your developers, and get estimates, development estimates. Yeah.
Don't be a pleaser.
Okay,
Right.
thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Just a quick announcement. Please stay. We'll have the DevOps Demystified here, and then marketing, technology, social, and media will be in the auditorium, by the other ME, and then collaboration solution challenges of implementing and achieving high adoption rates
Yinka.
will be in the youth room, while the cybersecurity breach will be John Knox room.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's holding now. Yeah, that was cancelled.
I'm just gonna say-
It's holding again.
Yeah.
Cybersecurity breach is holding again. Hey guys, can you
Sorry,
please
one
fill in
more
the
thing, one more thing,
feedback
sorry.
form, please?
Yeah.
We need the
Sorry,
feedback
one
form
more thing.
completed.
Sorry, one more thing. This is a real life scenario that we've just, this is exactly what I deal with at work every day. This is a real life scenario.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not a makeup. This is what you expect, this is what you would do at work every day.